Let's go. And it's the underground back in the building for another one. What is going on? Raymond, Kenny G, Lowrider, Sheepdog. Shut the music off. Dan. Looks like the Restream bot is kicking out. All right. See you, Keith, over there on Kick. Anybody else that's on Kick? Decided to try that out and connect tonight. I had to reconnect it just to tap into the audience over there. I may be doing some exclusive streams over there based on stocks and markets and all that type of stuff. If you see me live over there exclusively, that's what it'll be about, talking about all types of different stuff in that department. Cryptos, gold, silver, the whole nine, and teaching some people a thing or two about all of it independently. So also, it's a good backup for when things go south on YouTube, if they ever do, if it's ever down, glitching, anything like that. We've also got DLive as a backup as well. I'm not big on the Rumble, BitChutes, all that stuff. I've got them. I'm signed up over there, but my experience, man, I've been on every single site you could think of, except for TikTok. I won't ever try to snatch up my name, my likeness, and all that. But I don't utilize it, obviously, because the CCP controls it and all that crap. And I have a hard enough time dealing with my own government spying on me and doing all these crazy things. I don't need a tyrannical and murderous CCP tracking me and all that too. So I figured I'm over there though. You'll find me. People, rip me off all the time, cherry pick my stuff or clip my stuff out, clip me out and throw me, how many TikTok videos I go over and find my voice in. And it's just somebody showing their face, pointing, doing the stupid stuff that they do on TikTok. They show themselves for what? Just to point. I don't get it. To me, it's part of a psychological operation that gave everybody, it got all these people that never would show their face before on camera to do it, doing it left and right. And you're just feeding their AI algorithm now when you think about it and you think about how tyrannical and evil these people are. They're all about tracking and controlling everything. It's all about data, all about information. And I just don't trust TikTok in that aspect. I don't care if Trump's got a bunch of wealthy individuals ready to buy it or not. Even if they do, and you say it's American owned and all this and that, still, you don't think China's not going to have back doors into something that they created? They've got back doors into all of our infrastructure in this country, and that's not a joke. It's not a lie. We were warned about it by Christopher Wray, as evil and tyrannical as he is. So we've been set up. We've been set up long in advance. The only way that this was ever going to happen is if somebody was able to get in and rig this place with explosives, The same hand. They're about to pull off a grandiose event here on the Gentile Messiah's watch. And as you're going to see here tonight, there's a clearly defined direction they're taking this. They're taking this into a split, multipolar world order, so to speak, in the short term. And that is between the United States and China. And it looks like, as the script goes, we're not destined to win this. That, like, America is set to fall, to basically, I'm not going to say go down all the way, be finished for the history books. Like other countries never did that when their currencies fell. Like the UK, for example, it's still around, strong. Not a world power like it was before. But see, that's exactly what we'll be. We'll be amongst the world powers, but it'll be a shared power at this point because China's stepping up into the fray, and it's by choice. This is what the elite want. This is what the world establishment wants. They want China to lead the way from here. China has no problem with murdering their own people, disarming them, murdering them, dropping them in ditches. They would not think twice to do it to you. That's the real deal here. They don't believe in your Jesus. They don't believe in none of it. They're here to slice throats, to get a job done, put lights out. And I think that they'd be fairly tactical at doing so. I think it's going to be a nightmare. These guys may remain in the shadows. They don't even really have to be here to do cyber attacks. They can be anywhere around the world. So why would they be here? They would be here to do physical harm to infrastructure, like attacking substations, water supply places, assassinations, things like that. So when you got 1 million of them in here hiding in the bushes, I feel like sometimes I'm the only one that stays up late at night thinking about this. Like they're here. And like when we're at the level where I'm at up here, you can see it's all set up. They got all this property bought sitting right next to our military bases. It's ridiculous. They're all over the place. They're embedded in everything. They're embedded in the cranes at our ports. I mean, you name it. They're embedded in. So it's like, okay, what are you doing about it? The answer is nothing. Nothing. It's a setup. We're done. And they've accepted, the world's a stage in this script. China's accepted the role to take the role of this for the history books. Just as World War II was scripted and played out, Rothschild controls both sides of every war. They control the money flowing into both sides, so they control it all. And they did the past two wars the same way. And just as they knew there were ships coming across the ocean in Pearl Harbor and all this stuff, there were set up, staged aspects to all these different things. Ships being sunk and all this other stuff. Staged events for the history books, man. And then they write it however they want to. Just like they wrote it, the Hitler died, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But then on the History Channel, they're going to show you irrefutable proof that he showed up down in Argentina with a crew of people and at least made it there. And didn't die in that bunker like they try to tell you. And all this other stuff. But everything's so twisted out here these days. The same hand is responsible for it all. That's what I've learned throughout all these years. Almost every single person you can think of that's ever been assassinated politically or out of the music realm or Hollywood or anything like that, it's all been by the beast, as I call it. Same beast that I'm sure murdered all the ones that followed Jesus and Jesus. All the righteous ones. Their seats are still here, man. This is a horrific place. If you haven't figured that out yet, it has a chance. It has, the makings of being a beautiful place, but not with the evil in it. And I'll be honest, like this whole place would need redone. Like everything, the vibration of everything is so low and carnal. Rip you to shreds. The animals out in the woods, they're not any of them. Not bears, wolves, going to the ocean, sharks, all these other things. Just going to tear you apart everywhere. Like, really isn't the realm I want to be in, to be honest with you. I'm working hard to get to a higher place. I hope you are. You're not floundering it, squandering the moment. You just got to walk righteous, live good, the right way. Righteous, you'd be all right. But man, it's easier said than done, right? In the evil ass world like this, constantly tempting you to do evil. Smoke that cigarette, drink that beer, pop that pill. What? It's true. Constantly being tempted by the jinn. I tell you this, man. These witches and warlocks are real. Wizards are real. That's what Trump is. Trump's a big old wizard. He's the Grand Master, if you haven't figured it out yet. Yeshua is king. King of kings. He returns like a thief in the night with a sword. With the sword. He said, sell your cloak and get a sword. Yeah. People try to twist things and say all these weak things and make up excuses. But if you read your Bible, actually, and you read the scripture, it's clear what he said. He's coming back not for kumbaya. He's coming back to split wigs, as it said. Separate the wheat from the tare. It's going to be some destruction. So, I'm convinced, man, the bad guys are here, locked here. Still trying to figure out what I did to get here. If I chose to be here or if I've been soul trapped. Either way, it seems like there's only one way out. One way, the way out is in. Yes, the actor Trump. Thomas, hey man, we're just getting started tonight, man. Preface the show, man. That's gonna get this thing going. All right, Japan getting rattled, and a few other places. If you don't know, around the world, Tonga, Fiji, these places, they are among the most active. Now look at this running down toward New Zealand. Zealand just lit up with activity. In a way, this is good because it's releasing energy. But man, you can see how much it builds up here. if it doesn't release it like this, it builds up to a big one. And it can be devastating. Auckland, Christchurch, any of those areas. You can see the bigger quakes out here around Fiji. But, they're kind of used to it. Again, this is the most active earthquake area on the planet right there, if you don't know. And really, Australia gets away with a lot. Doesn't see a lot of activity. Lucky for them, it seems to go and ride right along up through Indonesia here, as you can see. And up here off the coast of Japan. So Japan's got a massive swarm going on. And someone hit me up. Thank you, whoever you are, for sending me the information. And you can see the information on X. They tagged me with it. And a much love to everybody out there. Shares the stream. Appreciate it to the fullest. Survival, gift bar, tacos. All my cats out there. I'm trying to scroll down here on my page on my laptop here and see. All right. It's the Watashi ga Mita Mari. All right. That's what it's called. Watashi ga Mita Mari. The future I saw. And this is based on the dream of Ryo Tatsuki, which chillingly, it says here, forecasted the March 2011 tsunami that took place, and that was in Japan. And manga's July 5th disaster prophecy now sparks panic. So this is out of the Times of India. This is what they're talking. They're talking like a major quake is about to strike in this area any moment. Okay? Any moment. The date, the window is July 5th. So it's already the 3rd on the other side of the planet. So within the next 48 hours plus, a half a day window or so, it's basically what they're calling for there. We'll see if it rings true. Let me get back over here. See, trying to see the highest magnitude here. 5.6. Okay. It hasn't even crossed the magnitude 6 range yet. So, I would consider it a hit if it's definitely got to be higher than a 7. If on the 5th in that window we see a 7 plus, and then we got to look at, was there any damage done from it to be prophetic and called out like this? They're saying like it's a disaster prophecy, so there would have to be some kind of damage or disaster tied into it, right? Right. And thank you, Silas. Much love, Silas, for sending this in. I appreciate it to the fullest, man. Much love to everybody out there. If you got anything to get to me, dabu7@yahoo.com, or you can tag me on X as well. TNF in the house, my brother. TNF is one that's always out there fighting the fight, so you guys know. If you're not sure, if you're not over in the trenches, as I call it, every day on X or Twitter, sharing information every single day, getting the truth out there, being heavily censored, and just doing everything you can to find good people, share good information, and just connect and spread the word. You know what I'm saying? So much love again, TNF, for playing the part, brother. I see you. I see you for sure. And thank you to everyone out there that plays their part, no matter how you're playing it. So thank you for that super chat, my brother. God bless. I don't know why, man. I've been hearing music. Where it's coming from? Faint music. Can't explain it. And much love, Hoodie Ross. So checking everything here. All right, everything looks good there. So let me go to this next thing here. The islanders have been left sleepless because they say 900 earthquakes have hit Japan. In 2 weeks. So the past 2 weeks, you've seen the swarm I just showed you. And I just told you about the prophecy. So we'll see here. Only time could tell as we come up on the 5th what's going to happen. But the area is swarming, oddly enough. And around here, about 125 million people experiencing around 15,000 jolts every year. So, one of those areas, Ski-Bee in the house, thank you for the super chat, my brother. So, you see me drop a video or anything like that having to do with the 5th, that's what's up now. I about dropped a video on this today, but I already had one loaded I just recorded, did everything, and uploaded it, was about to hit post. And rightfully so on the P. Diddy stuff, because it was a huge update. We're going to talk about that tonight, too, and we'll tear into that. But this video sent inside one of my group chats, and thank you guys again for sending this information. This is crazy. Now, when I first saw this, it was wild, but then my memory, like it was like deja vu. I'm like, what? I'm like, why? I've seen this before. Like, how? Like, where? How? And it was like, dude, like, it's in there. Like, I don't care if it was 10 years ago. Like, it happened. And, like, I remember they blamed the wind. And nobody bought it. Nobody believed it. Here we are again. The same thing in Vegas. Light poles, the wood snapped in two. Like, snapped off. All right? Telephone poles taken down en masse along with the light poles. Light poles gone down with them. So, what I will say to this is that if you have a force that can knock down the telephone poles themselves, the wires would bring down the light poles. Now, what makes no sense to the people even in the street, the people standing around, is they're like, hold on. They're trying to say this was a storm, but there was no major storm. There was do you see the ground wet? Do you see any rain, like anywhere, anything like that? That's, and then in another instance, trying to say it's like a dust storm that came through. Well, like, which is it here? In a dust storm, like, what? People are like, look, trees are still standing. Like, there's brick buildings still standing. But yet solid metal has been bent over like it's nothing. And like all these telephone lines just snapped. And these things are strong. Trust me. Very strong. Where they snapped and how high up and like all this, it's odd. So what they're trying to say is that the wind took down the power line. Just the sheer wind itself blew the power lines, which are not that thick, which do not catch wind that easy. You know how hard of a wind that would have had to have been to snap these poles? Like, man, it would have been enough to bring down trees and everything else. Like, there would have been like tornado warnings and like they can read this stuff from satellite, like the wind shear and the wind speed and all this other stuff. There has to be something else tied into it. Like, I don't know. I'm going to run this clip and then I'll give some final thoughts.
Las Vegas. We are on Tropicana in front of the Walmart. Every last one of the light poles, the electricity poles are down. This goes for miles. We ain't got no power. I don't know what the hell is going on. This goes for miles, y'all. Look at the cords on the ground. It goes all the way down. Miles. What the hell?
This is crazy. Look at all the people out there looking at this. They're all freaked out. You know, if it was a storm system, they'd be like, "Oh, a storm just came through and knocked all the power." That's not what it's not what they're saying. They're freaked out. They're like, "What the hell?" People are like, all these people are standing out in the street looking like, "What in the hell?" I'm telling you, this has happened once before in the past. There's something going on. Other people say that it felt more like a shockwave. People that were standing outside when this whole thing went down, they say what they experienced and what they felt outside felt like a shockwave, something that was hard to describe outside of that they felt it. I would say so, like a wind bomb. Are we going to start calling some of these events wind bombs? Because it almost seems like that's what this was, an explosion of wind, if that's what it was, or like, you know, the effects of a blast. I mean, that would do it. That would do it. A 70-mile-an-hour wind will not do that, in my opinion. I don't know, man. I seen some shaky looking buildings hold up in barns, 70-mile-an-hour wind gust. Especially telephone poles. I've never seen it like this, except for the story from years ago. I swear, from the same area. It was Vegas or somewhere out west. They call them, the direct Joes or whatever you want to call them, blasts of winds. But even those things are suspect in themselves because they don't seem natural. In nature, they seem, I don't know, loaded somehow. Kind of similar to how these hurricanes have, just like that last one, that the Helene that came through here. When Helene came through here, not only did it do some amazingly crazy damage up into the mountains of Asheville, but when the winds hit here, I never felt wind like it before in my life. It had like a push-pull, like a push-pull effect in the air and atmosphere. It was so weird. It was not like a blowing wind, a forceful wind. I've seen a lot of that over the years, seen a lot of different stuff. This was unique, and it was like a push-pull, like a push-pull. It was like a out in, like wave of air. It was the oddest thing. It was so that I knew that when the reports started coming in that the Asheville was wrecked and this and that, I'm like, dude, we just got hit with a weapon. Like the reverberating effects came over these mountaintops, and like from the way it came in, if you'd have kept on going from where it came in, you would have ran right into where I'm at. So it was crazy. Also, I'm saying, man, I felt it. So when these witnesses say that it was the shockwave that they feel in the air, that sticks with me. It hangs with me. I put all these things together, like, man. So, that's the weirdness going down in Vegas right now. Yeah, and Nellis is near, or it is near Nellis there in Vegas, Nellis Air Force Base and Area 51, which I've been to. Haven't been to Area 51, but I've been as close as a human's going to get. With the Tikaboo Peak, and I had my cameras peer down into it, and we had an amazing trip. One for the record books. We did some firsts, some stuff that's never been done since, and it amazes me how censored that stuff is on my channel. But that's just how censored I am. You're listening to someone that literally has footage on his channel of Area 51 that we went to top of Tikaboo and peered down into it with cameras and scopes and all this other stuff, and got all kinds of footage. And they put on a show for us. I swear to you. There was aircraft brought out of the hangar in front of us on two separate things. Spiro caught a clip where this long cigar-shaped one just appears. And you're like, what? And like, yes, it's there. And then this gyroing one that I caught on the other end on the tarmac that literally is sitting there spinning, gyroing. You could see the sun glistening off of it, and it's just gone. Just gone. Just gone. Nothing, just gone. And I swear to you, it was like a treat, man. I want to go back so bad. Our country's covered with ancient stuff. I've discovered that for myself. I went out on a separate trip to the Four Corners. I found stuff that I've got to go back for. I found some craziness, and I put it on my channel. And again, I'm so censored that like it only gets like a few thousand views or something. It's stupid. It's absolutely ridiculous. I got shocking stuff, like ancient stuff that humans, mankind built in our country. There's no sign saying that, you know, Paiute Indians did this or anything like that. Nothing. And it goes on and on and on and on and on. And some of it's so old that the sands of time have worn it down to nothing. That when you get there, it's literally just a footprint. And from space, these footprints are geometric in pattern in nature with patterns, circles, long big squares, down by the river too, like on the riverbanks. Like they were older civilizations set up with buildings and structures right there. It's so old in that area that it no longer exists. It's been again wiped away by the hands of time. But you can see the footprint. You can see the footprint of all of it. I'm telling you, it's so ancient. It just sucks that we as a people stuck in this rat race can't explore this planet. They don't want you to know the history, but that's the most intriguing. And solving this riddle, figuring this out as part of the mystery of life, you're so heavily lied to. But man, that's why I say you never know what you'll find in your own backyard. You never know. I was walking down these mountains down here, man, and I found some crazy carving of a bird's head that is super old. Had an expert also check it out and say that, yeah, it's definitely man-made, in his opinion, and super old, but couldn't get a beat on it. Now, he wanted me to dig further down to the mountainside to see if there was more and all this other stuff, because it's so old, like literally debris and earth and all this other stuff have built up on the side of it. It's covered in dark mold, and it's on a rock face, like to where if you were down in the valley below and you looked up, you would see it. It's crazy. You never know. We just wait till somebody digs up a giant. Best not go call the Smithsonian. You best just go live with it and like get thousands of people to catch on like as quickly as possible so they can't erase it and like say it didn't happen. Like get as many people like just have a party, have as many people as you know over, come over, check out everybody in the neighborhood, come, everybody bring their cameras or phone, everybody, and film this giant with his dug up. And there ain't no hiding it then. You know, these days, like, people ain't doing much, man. I'm telling you, good digging in your own backyard, never know what you're going to find. All right, keep it pushing. 44 people dead as a chemical reactor explodes in India. This is at a drug factory. Reduces the building to rubble. At least 44 people dead. Dozens still missing. They call it a horror blast. Sparked an inferno, burnt the building to the ground, leaving workers trapped inside, all kinds of people still missing. More than 140 people were working at the plant at the time, with more than 60 directly impacted. So 17 still unaccounted for. The death toll continues to rise. Not sure what caused this here. They say here, fine dust chemical particles accelerated the blast and the subsequent fire. But how they got loose, well, it's just all being speculated. They're saying pressure seems to have built up when the workers were operating the spray dryer, which you would think that they would know this, but there's an ongoing investigation right now on what caused the explosion. I'll update as I hear it. Want to point out some of the best countries in the world and the worst real quick. At the top is Switzerland, where all the world's elite go to hide in the mountains. And yeah, life's pretty peachy up there. They make sure that life's good for all the people around there that are paid well and all this. And it's very low crime and all that. So Japan is actually number 2. And then the United States, Silver Sailor. It's out there. And my other cat's a check-in from Japan. Much love. Yeah, I asked why Japan, and like came here and loved it and never wanted to leave. So has to be something good going on with Japan. Never been there, but I would love to visit it before this is all said and done. But I'm a slave, a poor slave in this rat race, and it probably never happened. The U.S. is third, then Canada, then Australia, Sweden, Germany, UK, New Zealand, then Denmark. At the other end of the spectrum, the worst place, number 40 on the list, is South Africa, then Morocco, then Malaysia, then Poland, Russia, Egypt, Mexico, India, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Brazil. Places that are not the best countries in the world. And of course, Saudi Arabia, they're chopping heads off in the street for minor offenses and all this other crap. And yeah. All right. So Del Monte. Del Monte is huge on canned goods. They're going through bankruptcy, and it sparked some concern. Is there going to be a shortage in terms of canned goods? Well, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I just know that they've destroyed this country, all the businesses that are a part of it, that ever have been, 130-year-old, 150-year-old businesses, destroyed, gutted, all within the past, since the scamdemic. Yeah. 140 years Del Monte's been around. You imagine your great-grandparents and stuff, grandparents, great-grandparents, would have been buying Del Monte. It's been around that long. Diced peaches, corn, all this stuff, everything you think of, man. Just another bankruptcy, though. Microsoft cutting 9,000 jobs in its second major layoff wave. That's right. These places people used to die for, like, oh, man, get a job. Microsoft, blah, blah, blah. But no, not at this point. Because they're in like the weed whacking phase, like in the weeds of the people, and like they're whacking them, and like they're taking them out, and they're replacing them with AI and robots largely, and it's happening en masse. Look, I told you this, man. People think time's flying. So all the stuff we're talking about, man, it's like it's being implemented, and even if it's to be tomorrow comes fast, and so I just wanted to put that out there. More jobs getting wiped out. I'm going to get to the AI part here in a second. So if you don't know, if you missed it, the fight seems to be back on, the feud here. These are the days of our lives. Between Elon and Trump. Elon has voiced frustration, and some of it righteous frustration, that the big ugly bill is full of pork and a bunch of stuff that doesn't need to be in there. It's going to raise our deficit like tremendously and all this other stuff, and it's bad. And it's like the opposite of what he was in there with Doge doing. Well, then, he makes it clear that he's not happy about this EV stuff. Well, come on. This is where Trump's kind of got him here, because Trump made it clear he ran that he was going to do away with the EV stuff. He ran on this. And if Elon missed it, then that was his own stupidity. being the world's richest man? Or did he think he was going to get in there and con him out of doing it? Was that his whole ploy the whole time? It never worked. He never got to it. Any of that, I don't know. But he seems butthurt over it. And Elon acts like a spoiled brat, a big kid sometimes, for real. A lot. And he went on X after these comments and was like, it's so tempting. All right, right here, you can see he says, it's so tempting to escalate this. So tempting. But I will refrain for now. Which, seeming the last time you came out, you fired the shot and you went straight for the jugular and like home, you took it back. Kind of gonna have to keep your mouth shut on this one then. You should have delivered goods then after you did that, and he didn't. But here's Trump. I'm gonna blow this up. Play this little clip of him. He is he's threatening to sick Doge, and that Doge will be the monster that comes back to eat Elon. They telegraph these things slick like. And Trump, come on, it's Trump. He's a master at this. And way more of a master at it seems, than Elon. I'm going to be honest about it. In terms of trolling and all this, like Trump, he knows he's got him because of his position. As Trump keeps saying in all these different interviews, he holds the cards.
The rest, we got a lot of hostages back. The rest, we got a lot of hostages back. But we're going to talk about that. I don't know. I think we'll have to take a look. We might have to Doge on Elon. You know what Doge is? Doge is the monster that might have to go back and eat Elon. Wouldn't that be terrible? He gets a lot of subsidies, Peter. But Elon's very upset that the EV mandate is going to be terminated. And you know what? When you look at it, not everybody wants an electric car. I don't want an electric car. I want to have maybe gasoline, maybe electric.
So you see what he veiled threat. Lady asked him about deporting Elon. He's like, I don't know, maybe we'll have to leave the door open. Like, maybe we'll have to sick Doge on him. Maybe Doge will have to be the monster that comes back around and eats Elon. Like, threatening to sick Doge on him. Like, right there in the open. Like, he's got a lot of money. He's big business. And it's like, oh, really? Like, man, like these guys are so cutthroat. It's mafia again. But Elon's a new kid on the block, like the new rich kid, world's richest. And he acts like a big kid. But he's fully satanic. He's fully evil as it gets. I mean, he runs around in a Baphomet costume, has an upside down cross on it, and he loves it. Grinning ear to ear doing it. He's in other weird pictures with demon looking dudes and stuff, and smiling ear to ear, loving every bit of it. He came out flaunting dark MAGA. Give me a break. It just goes on and on with these guys, man. They don't satanic as it gets. All right, so this whole big beautiful bill, Senate seemed to have passed it, and people were like, oh, they're gonna push it through, and I'm like, we're screwed. I think D. White was like, he dropped update, and I'm like, man, we're done. If that's the case. Well, it gets to the House, and this is where surprisingly it gets stalled. And as you can see right here, Massey announces he has enough votes to block the one big beautiful bill in the House. This, boy, oh boy, this would be a huge victory if this thing gets stalled and it gets blocked and it gets stopped right here. Trump was demanding by Memorial Day that they had this thing done. They've stalled it out and stalled it out and stalled it out. Here it is. They want it done by the 4th of July, and Trump's pissed. He's ticked off. They thought they'd already have this on his desk, signed and rammed through with tyrannical AI. So I ask everybody out there to step up, step it up. Start saying something to your senators, to your governors, all right? Social media makes it easy, right? Yeah, that's right. You got a governor or somebody, I guarantee you half of you ain't even tweeted because you think all the rest of us are going to do it. It's ridiculous. Everyone needs to play their part. They need to put heat on the governors and senators over these key issues. And as I said before, you should have kindly asked your governor, like I did, Rand Paul, to vote hard no on this, especially on the section 43201 that has to do with tyrannical AI. Okay? I did it again tonight to Jim Jordan. Seen him right in my feed right before we were going live. He was going on Sean Hannity to discuss the reasons for having to pass the big, beautiful bill. And it's like, nah, I called him out. It's like, why don't you bring up the most tyrannical part? The AI part, 43201. But you won't do that, will you, Jim? You bitch ass. Sell out. Pisses me off. Instead, calm down, take a breath. Thomas Massey gets a group of 10, a vote block of 10 that say no. And these 10 literally are the 10 that just stop tyrannical AI rule from being rammed down every state's throat because no one's paying attention or no one cares. Let's see here. I think this names them. All right. I'm going to play this video clip. Well, I shouldn't be pissed off, but I shouldn't care. Is that right? Shouldn't have emotion, right? What? Some people, man. All right, so Andy Biggs, Lauren Boebert, Andrew Clyde, Neil Dunn, Andy Harris, Dan Muser, Andy Ogles, Scott Perry, Chip Roy, and Thomas Massey. And I mean, Rand Paul was voting, saying he was all against all this stuff and the deficit stuff too. So I mean, it's more that you could even throw in there. That's a 10, a block of 10 is how they're calling it, that stops it. And Trump was trying to get all 10 of these to the White House. And I don't know what threatened them today. Try to talk them into this. These people at least made a stand where all the rest of these politicians are quick to sell you out. We've got very few that are even willing to do this and take this heat because most are saying, what's it worth? You know, like, screw the people, you know, they don't want to get bitched at by the boss. The people ain't going to do much or say much anyways, how most of them see it. And it's been right most of the time. But now I'm telling you, people applying more heat, it's starting to have an effect. I truly believe that people applying heat to these people is what got us to this point.
Joining us right now is Maryland Congressman Andy Harris. He is the chair of the House Freedom Caucus. Good morning to you. Where are we here? Tell me how many friends and colleagues do you have on your side at this point, and how you think this is all going to go down, because we are getting, as you know, down to the wire here.
Well, we're down to an artificial deadline wire, no question about that. The bottom line is we could take another week to get this thing right. The Senate bill moved way far away from the House bill, added about $750 billion to an already large federal deficit and debt. You know, it did things like it stripped away the blocking funding for transgender surgery from minors. It stripped away, you know, effectively stopping illegal aliens from getting Medicaid. It scaled back the Green New Scam provisions from the House bill. We should take the time to get this right. I think there are enough people who say, you know, the House took a position, the Senate took a position. Now it's time to get somewhere between those two positions and send something to the president's desk.
Okay, so how realistic, though, given what you know about, as I say, your friends and colleagues who are on your side versus not, that are willing to effectively tell the president, no mas, we're not doing it this week, you're going to have to wait?
Well, the president's already indicated this may slip by a few days. I think, again, our goal is to get this done by the middle of next week. I think it's easily done to get a compromise version between the two chambers, and I think that's important for the American people. Again, you know, adding $750 billion to an already large federal deficit and debt is probably not a good idea.
Have you, I assume you've spoken to Mike Johnson about this? What does someone like him tell you in private?
Well, look, I mean, the speaker says that this may be the best deal we can get. I've just been around the legislative process long enough to know when two chambers disagree like this, you usually can compromise somewhere in the middle, and somewhere in the middle could save hundreds of billions of dollars from the federal debt and deficit.
Okay, so you just talked about this $750 billion addition. What would you accept? Meaning, if it was 300, would you take it? And then where are you going to take it from?
Well, you know, I don't like negotiating with myself, but the bottom line is that usually these end up as a compromise between the two chambers. So yes, if we found another $300, $400, $500 billion to apply to the deficit growth to stop it, then I think that would be a very reasonable thing to do, and I think that can be done. The bottom line is the Senate pretty easily added $750 billion. I think we can whack a considerable percent of that out in negotiation.
Let me just ask you about the math itself. So the CBO talks about this whole big, beautiful bill costing taxpayers the equivalent of $3.8 trillion over 10 years. If you talk to people inside this administration, they would say that there's a fundamental flaw in the math of the CBO, which is they say the CBO is estimating that growth over the next 10 years is going to be 1.8%, and that they're estimating it to...
All right, I can't take any more of them. Yeah, Lone Warriors. It was this big, beautiful bill with sixes for the B's, 666 in it. That's right, man, brother. I hope I get to meet you before it's all said and done. Some people out there just get it, and see it clearly, and see it for what it is more than others. It's refreshing to see some people out there that are awake, and stuff like that. But yeah, the big, beautiful bill is a scam. It's tyrannical. And that guy just said he's confident by the middle of next week, while no one's looking or paying attention. It doesn't even matter at this point because people aren't doing anything. They're going to pass a bill that they can compromise on. No one is talking about the AI part. That is the scariest part. We're going to keep on speaking on it. Sadly, Senate pushed it through. If the House would have just pushed it through, it would have been off of Trump's desk and signed, and we'd be screwed bad. I mean, bad. Your children's future, like everything. The next 10 years it's over. With AI, with what they want to do with this, what's hit in there, it's like in implementing AI into every aspect of our lives, into where the states can't stop it for 10 years. First off, if you're going to come in and tell anyone that they can't stop anything for 10 years, I mean, that's criminal, and that's highly suspicious and suspect and everything else. It's because they know it's not going to work if they don't try to do it this way. And the crazy part is they're about to get away with pushing this through. Again, hitting in here. So what this means is, like, if they have AI that is overseeing certain things, it's gonna take over everything, man. Okay? For instance, if you've got cameras at the street lights in your city or in your town, this is all going to be overtaken by AI and all these things. And people are going to get hit with tickets like they've never known for laws they didn't even know existed in their state. Left and right for no seatbelts, for running lights, for all this stuff, for everything that you can think of. It's going to pile up, and it's going to be instant. And anything that a human cop might have gave you a warning on or pass on, you ain't getting one here. And it makes it a challenge every time you go out, anywhere you go, because all of a sudden you live in 1984, like the Orwell whole thing. We're there, like you're in it. You actually feel the Matrix pressing down on you, watching your every move at that point. You won't be able to go nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. I mean, they're already tracking you everywhere you go with your cell phone. That's one of the biggest dead giveaways right there on anything you do in your privacy. But AI is going to take it further. If they push this, the AI can be listening to all your conversations, feeding it back into wherever. They're going to cite this bill and the passing of this bill as them having the legal right to do all these things. What if they, AI into the court system? In that, judging someone in a case or something like this. Like, and people are vastly against it. But they push it, and it's, we don't know the full scope of what this AI is going to be. They never outlined that. They just kind of gave the outline of what they wanted to do, but they didn't give the details. Okay? Like the fine-tuned details. Like exactly where and how all this stuff. They just said that it's going to be implemented everywhere and you can't do nothing to stop it. That's scary. So, I got a bad feeling it's going to get pushed in. It's going to pass. And it's almost like one of these fights, like we go down swinging, like some of us out here, like we did everything we could. And because I see a lack of effort out of the people out here, which is pathetic and just ridiculous. This is why this country is going down the tubes. This is why we're screwed. Again, nobody does nothing. Nobody gets out there and protests en masse. Nobody organizes anything. Nobody does anything. They think someone else is going to do it all, or they just don't care. They say, what can I do? But all those people saying that together collectively could do a lot. A whole lot. If you live in New Mexico, you're very dependent on the government. Jersey, not as much. If you have gold, you're in a good position. But, as I said before, I don't know if we've even got gold in Fort Knox. They haven't proved it. It's something that they need to prove. They need to just do it. Freedom's gone. No, AI is not going to replace Dabu, fool. It ain't happening. Like, look, this is where the OG and the original stuff of everything becomes worth so much money. Do you understand? When there's knockoffs and there's fakes and there's replicas and all that, look, I deal with it all the time. You know how many knockoffs I've got out there and had to deal with for years? Droves and droves and droves. I had them come in legions. Other ones they used to attack in the chat. Some of you know what I'm talking about. Relentlessly. And it would be other Dabus, and they'd show up on every account that you could think of. Trying to act like, and they still do. All over the place. That's why I made the Dabu 7 project. That was mine, in my liking. And it was stalled, and I did it second, but I did it for this reason. Like, if you're invested in that, truly, you're invested in the OG original project that's in me. Anytime that, like, I hit the news or anything, that's when these dudes, like Sam, say it's Prince Charles or somebody else, like, there's a Prince Charles project out there, and like, if Prince Charles is in the news, that project will pump, okay, and it will give people a chance to make a whole lot of money. It happens every single day if you're missing it. Okay, so I made one on my likeness. Now, one day down the road, the feds would come and kill me and some crazy stuff, and it'd be all over the news. Well, guess what? Anybody that's invested in my coin is probably going to get super rich because it's going to go sky high with the news. And stuff like that. That's how it works. If you've been missing out, that's where this is at and where it's going from here. So, it happens every day in these realms that some people just ain't paying attention to. Some people are just sitting there, docile. They're not learning. I mean, I don't care if you're 80, 90 years old, you're still learning in here. And I don't know, some people just, I don't know. I don't know what it is to some people. I guess you either want to know some things or you don't, and you're always just going to sit there wondering and this and that. But the way things are flowing these days, the way the markets move, and the way all this stuff is set up, is it's all news based. It's what I do. So gold, and Becky, thank you. Senators Marsha Blackburn, Maria Cantwell effectively eliminate the 10-year ban on state and local AI regulations that was previously included. Oh, what? Oh, dude, that's a banger. That's got to be some of the best news I've ever heard. Hold on a second. I got to pause here. And Becky, thank you so much. So much for the super chat, for the comment, for the knowledge, for the information, for the update here. You like that? Senators Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee and Maria Cantwell of Washington effectively eliminate the 10-year ban on state and local AI regulations that was previously included in the legislation. Wow. That's like, can you send me a link, please? Because like, somebody give me a link. Send it dabu7@yahoo.com. dabu7@yahoo.com. We can tag me on X. I don't know if I got it on where you can share links in chat. JF, thank you. He says thank you for the channel. Well, thank you. Tell him dead and gone, brother. We fight the fight. And I gotta say this. I stepped outside today and I heard a helicopter chopping, just in case they do ever kill me. And I'm up on like a ridge in the mountains, and I thought it was over the ridge or something, but I looked over and it was like over the field, right straight out from me. And he came right at me. And he banked it 90 degrees, probably 50 yards from me. I stood my hand up and they went on down. Looking like they were searching, these mountains for, old Mary Jane this time of year like they do. But that's what it seemed like to me, swooping around all over the place. It's just, looking right in the eyes. Like, it's crazy. I don't know. I looked up the other day, man. And there was a Chinook kicking them. It was loud, kicking it up over the area, man. I'm like, what the hell are they doing? Been a lot of activity. And I've been hopping on Ads Exchange and Flight Radar to looking to see real quick, what it is. And they ain't on there. And let me tell you, there's police choppers on there. There's military stuff that's on there and all types of other stuff. We've shown you in chases. I've shown you crazy helicopter activity when they were chasing guys before. We've watched it. But these guys, for whatever reason, not listed on them. So that's what some people always say. Well, why don't you go over there and check? Well, I do. I ran in and I checked it immediately. And like, they were nowhere within like 500 square miles. There was nothing on live feed. So they're flying blind out there, but they don't want no one to know what they're doing, creeping around. All right. So back to this whole dollar thing, or gold thing. I don't know what's up with Fort Knox. None of us do. But look at here. The Turkish people, Turks themselves, are sitting on 331 billion of household gold. Like, it's a popular thing over there to have bracelets like this. A ton of people wear them. It's just like a fashion thing, like a cultural thing, with different designs, and some of them are pretty cool, tight looking. But that's a ton of gold. India's the same way for ceremonial purposes and all this. There's a ton of gold throughout India. So, Turkey, India, China, they're hoarding a ton of gold, but the people themselves have a bunch. I'm not so sure how much Americans are holding. I don't know. I don't know. I would say, in from what I've done in my research, what I've seen is India was in the higher ranks because of what I just said, what I told you, because of ceremonial purposes. And when it comes to religious things and things like that involve gold, silver, and things like that, then it's more prevalent in their society, and there's going to be more of it, more artifacts and jewelry. And to think, man, there's some ancient jewelry probably floating around in some of these places that goes way back. If I had it my way, I don't know, man. This world needs a righteous person that can make good things happen, like go around and help the homeless and put them in housing and feed people and help anyone out there that righteously needs it, and be able to go around and help make that happen constantly for the rest of the days. Have Bill Gates money, Fauci money. Arrest them, confiscate the money, and you could do these things. They're just going to give it away to demons. But, again, this whole thing's ran by demons. But if he had somebody righteous, it's the things that I would do. You gotta do something here, man. Somebody. It's like you don't even have one righteous person that's willing to go around and do great things. You don't hear about it at all, at any day, any time. You don't see Elon walking the streets, getting these homeless up, just put them up in this mansion he just bought and just said, yeah, here, guys. Had a long talk with them, telling them that they got to keep up with the property and this and that, blah, blah, blah. Just have some rules and this and that, but put a roof over their head. As I always said, one of my main rules, if I did this, was able to implement it. Got a big house, put some vets up in it. Was that you've got to take your knowledge and teach it to the youth, the troubled youth that I'm going to bring here this week, and they have nowhere to go. They're going to swim in the pool. They're going to play on the pool table, but you're also going to get disciplined by you. And then you're going to get taught everything you were taught in the military on how to survive and all that skill. You see what I'm saying? That's what needs to happen. You feel me? Some warrior, straight up leader stuff right there to save it all. You have nothing like it. You don't even have faction. You can't even find a militia anywhere. Magus then broke it down, sucked it up, spit it out. A decade ago, we at least had militias all over the place. And they were doing everything they could to intercept them and to get into them and to infiltrate them, because it was obviously the answer, the way. It's what they feared. They went out of their way to set up Bundy Ranch. Remember the wildlife refuge? All that. R.I.P. Lavoie. All set up by the feds. Try to honeypot patriots. I don't forget. Yeah, at the end of that wildlife refuge, guess what? There was some crazy dude. Go back and watch it. Protect Your Base, or whatever his name was, live streaming the whole thing at the refuge as the feds moved in. And guess who he was talking to on this live stream, responding to? Me. He was saying my name. Someone mysteriously had offered to pay $10,000 to get me to get out there when that went down. And we all looked at each other and said, dude, this feels like that Pac moment, man. I go out there, I'm dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, they got me. And sure enough, it was one big setup. Boy, they tried. They sure did. They tried. It's Pete Santilli. Hold on, let me get a refresh on my page. As soon as I said that, everything dropped on me. I got to get my chat back. Look, dude, I've seen them all. I came across them all in this game. You how many of these names, how many of these cats, how many of these characters are feds? Work for the feds. It's sick. That's why I don't trust none of them. Then the other half, these cats over here that act like they're patriots or something over here pandering to Trump. They ain't no better. Just pandering to Fed. Thinking it's cool. Like, it's not. It's not cool. It's not cool to be rubbing elbows, running with them, acting like you're buddies with them. And if you are, then you ain't cool. You're running with the enemy. See, some of these people had it twisted. It was all a big rock star show. Because they had it in the bag, they thought. Because it was the obvious win. Got to take Trump over Biden and all this other stuff. Woohoo, MAGA, woohoo, woohoo, woohoo. You know, all this pathetic. All the winning as the country gets destroyed. It's been sickening. Continues to be. I will say though, I am happy that I got to say they pulled the AI thing out of that bill. Like, I'm still waiting to see my chat light up or email light up. Haven't got any link on it. Haven't got anything come through. So if anyone finds a link on that, about them pulling that, exactly what she said, about them pulling the AI out of the bill, I'd love to see that. That way I've got it for reference. Just heard the bill passed. What? As I'm saying that, rebel always, much love. What is going on? AI bill is dead. Sheepdog says, big beautiful nightmare. Yeah. Why do I not have any guests? Because every guest ever come on here screws me, sticks a knife in my back, tries to kill me. I'm kidding. That just ain't me. I've been there. I've done that. I'm open to it. But it's just I'm open to it. I'm open to have whoever on. If the right person, the right topic, and this, that. I'm always down to have somebody on. I used to have guys on with me all the time. I used to have multiple guys on with me all the time. I used to have different people come on all the time. So, I've just been there, done that, and like, I don't know, some of the people also I had around me turned out to be like feds. You can mention no names, but somebody that used to be here like all the time with me on these streams, I don't know, 3+ years back, up to 7 years back, all the way back to 2016, all that. A couple guys, they just screwed me. One basically got a visit by the feds because of J6. And he never responded. He never called me. He never said nothing. I had somebody else had to tell me that all these people were getting visits by the feds because of J6 and this, that. And to this day, he never said a word to me. Never sent me a message on X. Never said, hey, bro, what's up? Not a word. Talk about shadiness. He asked me why I don't have people around. What about DJ Mike? That was on here too with us, huh? What about him? Forever. Bought him a camper to live in, raised money, got him a van, all that. All that stuff. He ended up getting hooked on drugs and going down that path. living the bar life and knocking some other girl up, and it's like, I was like, nah. Was telling me rocks were dinosaurs and all this other stuff, and I'm like, dude, you're gone. Like, like you people are like, it's pathetic. We're gonna say, I had one down cat, old Eric, years ago, that ran the streets with me, and they all scared him off. He got ran off. If you're out there, Eric Moore, much love, brother. I would love to run the streets with him again. Yeah, but that's just, man, I've ran into all the characters, the Alex Joneses, all at the height of it, the Joe Biggs, the Jakars, all the big names, all those characters, man. Every time that there was a major event from city to city, like, and I'm there, they would be there. Like, all these people, the same characters. And that's when I got to see that they staged events. That's when I got to see that Alex Jones and them would stage scripted stuff for views. Skirmishes, little fights, arguments, all this stuff, all for views. All for, people to watch them. I learned a lot getting off my butt and going into the streets, a long time ago. I was one of the people that didn't know and was watching, and I got sick of it. It was Ferguson that changed me. And I went to Ferguson. And I got to, when I did, I learned a whole lot. I learned there's paid protesters. We seen it. I learned a ton. It was a huge eye opener. So then it propelled me to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And if city after city after city I went, it was the same thing. I would see the same RevCom show up. I'd see the same BLM getting bust in. I'm not kidding you. I see the same Alex Jones and their goons. I see Tim Pool and Luke Radowski and these goons there to live stream. And there I was too. And of course, right at the gate, I tell you right now, when I met Luke and Tim and them in the streets, I knew what was it. Like, Luke was the more friendlier, and we became friends, I'll say, in a sense like that, because we were cordial and respected one another, right? And I looked up to Luke in the game because it was some guys like him that was the streaming We Are Change. They kind of inspired me, so I give him that respect. But then, all the way up to current day stuff, what he's done since then, I can't speak on that, any of that. That's him. You make your bed, you lay in it. Tim, anytime, the first time I ever went to shake his hand, it was like I had a snake in front of me. I felt like it. I can't explain it. I felt like I had a snake, like a dark entity in front of me. I almost thought he was possessed or something. Like something else was like controlling him, driving his vehicle or something. Like, I don't know how to put it. It just felt demonic. And it's like, I'll shake it off. Next time I went out, I seen them. Of course, they were there in the streets again, live streaming, same stuff. And we're all under attack. We're all getting attacked by the cops. We're all in the same boat, on the same side, like going through some crazy stuff, crazy experiences. Like, me and Luke kind of resonated on that. But like Tim, now anytime Tim popped up out of the shadows, it was whisper, whisper, whisper. And he had to take them off into the shadows. And thank you, Becky. I'll never forget it. He'd do it city after city. City after city. He'd pop up and like he'd disappear with Luke. He'd take Luke off with him. And then now you fast forward to today, you see that Luke and was on his whole podcast with him and all that. But Tim specifically was called out and shown to have accepted getting paid millions. And look, real truthers out here, I ain't never make millions, man. You get attacked hard from every angle, not not the exact opposite, not promoted and blasted on the airwaves and given the biggest podcast in town. But no, only the shill working for the team does. Do you see? And I'll be honest, like, that's what they done. Like, that's a position that we should righteously fill. Like, we should reach millions with the truth every night, like right now. But we don't, because they always keep me capped in a lid on me. And even the lady I talked to on the phone in a flash at YouTube said my channel is marked with the mark she can't explain. And she couldn't get off. And what that meant, she didn't know. And what that means, I don't know. That I'm marked by them. Always have been, and always have gone through hell. When these other cats don't, and they're getting paid millions, are you kidding me? That means that you're spewing their garbage. You're their puppet. You're their puppet. You understand now? You see now? Don't forget it. Okay? That's who these people all are. That's why I have none of them around me. I really like or talk to any of them. I've ran in. I've seen who most of them are. Some people show up and they just want everybody to get along. They say, why can't everybody just get along? Because they live in a stupid fantasy or something that, like, everybody's going to be kumbaya and all the favorite people they can watch is all going to get along. And they live in a stupid fantasy. That's not reality. It's stupid fantasy. You can snap out of. Because half these cats are snakes and demons. E-Face, thank you for the first coffee of the night. I appreciate that more than you know. Thank you for supporting the channel more than you know. Much love. God bless. Keep this pushing. It's always something. I could be talking about gold and it takes me off onto something else, but I just let it loose. All right. Robots set to outnumber humans. And this is at the Amazon warehouses. I told you earlier, Microsoft cutting off 9,000 more jobs, replacing people with robots, AI. Here it is. Robots set to outnumber humans at the warehouses. So it's beginning. I mean, it's crazy. Really, like, what are people going to do? Like this. What are people going to do when they're replaced in mass? This applies so many jobs, but, all these people become poor. It's going to crush this place, man. It's going to crush it. Where's the replacement for all these jobs that are getting wiped out? There is none. Where's the plan? There is none. Everybody just living day to day, thinking someone else is going to solve the problem. Every day, all the time. This gets where we get closer and closer. But here we are. It's here. It's here. It's here, man. It's crazy. How far will this run? I don't know. As I said earlier, to have a job doing something that, they're going to need, like a dentist, auto mechanic, things like that. Those are going to be things that humans are going to be needed for some time. Now, let's look at something real quick. This is human versus AI. This is the time that it takes to complete a task. The time on the left here is the AI. And it ranges from 25 minutes to 39 minutes. It's a small range throughout all these different things. Humans without AI, they're all over the place. And they're way higher. All of them are. From 80 minutes all the way up to 142 minutes is the difference here. And this is the time saved and how much quicker AI can complete all these tasks. The top here, it starts off with writing, which is a huge gap. And then it goes to active learning. Critical thinking, it's just way faster than humans. Troubleshooting the same way. Mathematics, complex problem solving, instructing, system analysis, programming, management of finances, technology design. All these things, it just smokes humans on. So, like, you know, architects, there's going to be a human that has a company that deploys the AI, but it's not going to be the same as an architect is ever was, where these guys are sketching and doing it like you ever knew in the past. It'll be these guys won't even know nothing about that. They won't even be doing it the old school way or nothing like that. They're just gonna be running a business where they let AI do it all. Do you see? And actually, the skill, the art of doing all that will be lost. It's done, man. Like, AI is just, I hate it. I honestly think it's the jinn, the spirit of the jinn, the consciousness of the jinn, putting these evil thoughts into this reality. Lemon, thank you for the coffees. And thank you for watching for years, man. Much love. Always love to see people swing back around. Let me know they've been watching for years, man. I hear some crazy stories, man. It's pretty crazy sometimes. All right. Thank you, Becky. All right, there. You got me there on X. I just looked over and hit the X notifications. U.S. Senate strikes AI regulation ban from the Trump mega bill. Huge. Thank you for the link. Get it out of here. That is a huge one. That's a huge one. That's a huge one. That's a victory, man. Look, you got to claim victories. We got so much bad stuff always going on and happening. Like, you got to claim your victory. We talked about this left and right constantly. We put the pressure on. I really do feel. Even tonight, all the way up to tonight before the stream, I was sitting there calling out Sean Hannity and Jim Jordan on X. It's right there to see, for this exact same thing to happen, for this to be pulled. So it's just, I don't know. This is from yesterday. So they did this yesterday. Wow, good. Cash Hart, man, checking in with the 13. Good to see you. Love to shake your hand one day. Thank you. The flesh. I appreciate it more than you know. For real. So this is scary. You know, outside of another lockdown, the AI, tyrannical AI stuff is as scary. So I'm glad they got that out of there. Sigh of relief in that department. Just one less thing you got to worry about for some people, because some states weren't going to put up with it. Okay. Other states were just going to allow it and probably are still going to push it. Even though they didn't put it in the bill, you're still going to get it in certain areas. It's the way that it is. Just like you had people telling you to mask up and stand 6 feet in some states, you know, for a long time. You had other states where, like, mask up. Like, what are you talking about? People were like living free. It's going to be different in different places. Give me 1 second here. My screen got messed up. All right, gonna expand on the AI, and we're gonna take it to the AI antichrist topic here, and it is Peter Thiel that is saying this. And man, these guys, he said, just as Elon did, that they were trying to summons the demon. He almost said it word for word, the same thing. He goes back with Elon. They both created PayPal, you know, became billionaires. They're both in the club. some of these guys are interesting to me because they're so high up on the chain in a world. He also made Palantir, okay, which is tyrannical, okay. But the same, I mean, just like Elon does Neuralink and has all this tyrannical crap that he supports, he tells you they're trying to summon the demon. It's the same thing with this guy. But he's got his own style in a different way. And a few different key points here. But this is what he does. He doesn't pull no punches. He walks the whole AI thing down into being the antichrist and basically saying the AI is causing stagnation, that we should be where hoverboards exist and all the stuff like Back to the Future. We've passed that, and we haven't seen it yet. People aren't zipping around on hoverboards over the water, just like Marty McFly did in the Back to the Future vehicle and all this stuff. It's being suppressed. He starts to speak on this. Then he says he spoke to Elon, and he said he joked to Elon that if Trump didn't win, he'd leave the country. Elon replied, "There's nowhere to go." It's funny because I'm like I said, if you can't be in America, where are you going to go if you got to flee America? Well, Peter says that he applied this to Elon losing faith in going to Mars. Why? Because the woke AI and the socialist government here on this planet would follow them to Mars. And there would be nothing that they could do to stop it. Now the AI is here. This is why Elon came out and said, dude, we're postponing AI for 6 months. They did this. 6 months came and went, boom, boom. And it's like it didn't even happen. But it did. They tried. Okay? Let's see. All right. Philip Perman II says the revised moratorium sought to reduce the AI law enactment and enforcement pause to 5 years while creating exceptions for laws tackling how AI affects children's online safety, images, and likeness. What? See, I'm going to have to tear into this. So, I don't get it. Was the AI taken out or not? Or was it just modified? There's a big difference. Was it taken out and we were celebrating because saying, I mean, let me go back here. Let me go back here for a second. And it says it strikes the regulation ban from the mega bill. They voted overwhelmingly on Tuesday to remove a 10-year federal moratorium to strike down the bill by adopting an amendment offered by Republican Senator Blackburn. It actually came as a marathon vote-a-rama. Let's see. Just skimming this. I don't see. I see what they said a piece on it, but they didn't say anything about the 5 year there, like you were saying. I'm gonna look into it further after this, but it's always something. Like, hell, if we can't get it for 10, we're gonna get it for 5. Okay, bulletproof, good looking. Watcher in house, inner city rogue. So, all right, well, that's a deceptive title. That's a deceptive title that they just pushed. It just is. That it wasn't struck down. It was amended. It was amended, basically cut in half, neutered, if you will, but it's still there. So that was short-lived. It's a short-lived adrenaline rush, a little epiphany. Yeah, it's done. It's gone. Then dumped. Now back to depressive dump state. Like, oh crap, well here it comes. It's just sick of this place, this crap. Anyhow, when it comes to AI, TL says that how an antichrist would take over the world. That basically it would have control of AI, nukes, bioweapons, hold everything hostage. And it would be a one world state of antichrist. So it's pretty crazy. He says the twist to antichrist doesn't come with innovation. He comes with regulation. And talks about building the tools. And look, Palantir fits right into there. Like he falls right into it. With what he's doing, feeding into the beast with everything that he's doing. But then they go on to say, does he bring up Trump? Oh, he cites Thessalonians while people are saying peace and safety, destruction will come on them suddenly. What do you think he knows? Is he trying to telegraph something? And he's going for a Bible verse to try to get you to see it. I feel it. I feel he's telegraphing something huge is about to happen. He turns around right after by saying there's a huge scope for human freedom. Like, I don't know, it's all out there, man. We're telegraphing stuff. I've been doing this for a long time. He's putting it all out there. So basically, when it comes to AI running and overseeing this whole thing, he says, sure, yeah, this entity can be overseeing this whole thing. Wow. That's exactly what we've been saying. All right. Tracking you everywhere you go. Thank you, Boomer, for the coffee. Watching your every move. Yeah, it's scary stuff. So, check this out. Anyone got Verizon? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? All right. If you've got Verizon or not, I don't care who you got. Do you got a cell phone? Do you got a service provider? I don't know, Academy. I didn't think about that yet. I don't know if I'm going to be live on the 4th. Probably. Much love, Jay. Everybody out there, you got a cell phone, right? Listen to this. You've heard of Verizon, right? All right. You want to know how freaky and crazy this whole thing is? Look what they just got. Look what they put out. They put this out. All right. And thank you to the person that sent it to me. This is from their site, from Verizon. Privacy. Okay. Introduction. The purpose of this policy is to describe how Verizon collects, uses, maintains, shares, and disseminates automated license plate recognition data, or ALPR data. Automated license plate recognition data. I hope you're hearing me, okay? Unless you're in a pretty old school country state like mine here in Kentucky, if you're in a more higher tech state with bigger cities and more technology, you're going to have the higher chances of having these things all over the place. And I hate to tell you, but even states, every single state, if you've got a truck stop, if you've got a way station, anything like that, you're smoked. In some of these places, they've got them hidden wherever. This may be news to your ears, but you need to realize they're admitting right here. This is what they say. Verizon's Intelligent Video 2.0 service includes ALPR technology that captures, stores license plate images. What is Verizon doing snatching your license plate? What is Verizon doing snatching your license plate? Nobody seems to care about nothing. They're sitting out here. They admit their truck stop, everything I just told you. They've got these set up. It says they're not active in certain areas. It's not available in the public sector public sector use in Montana, North Carolina, Minnesota, and Florida. But like everywhere else is fair game. Well, down here it says in Nebraska only. Private business customers may also use it. Oh, okay. But it's not available for private use in Arkansas, Maine, and New Hampshire. So like list a few different places and a couple different paragraphs here in some vague stuff. Like they're admitting right here that they are scanning your license plate and collecting the data on the highway and on the roadways with these devices that people have no idea about. This is like kind of a bombshell and huge. You can't go we can't do nothing. You think go take a little road trip, go down somewhere, you better be taking all back roads and like even then, man, I just, dude, man, it's done. 5 years, 2030. Man. Anyhow, putting a warning out there, man. Just be aware when you're traveling out there, anywhere you go, anything you do, even if you think you're slick and you're driving in an old Oldsmobile and you left a cell phone at home, you have no electronics on you, you think you can go somewhere and they don't know, well, they're scanning license plates all over the place. So I'm sure you know this is how a ton of people are getting busted on a ton of different things. Dudes can't figure out how to get busted for murder or this and that. Well, you pass by a scanner and it puts you in a place and you denied being there and they knew you were. This is they better start. I immediately want to say they better start building bigger prisons, but I see what they're doing. They are. Under the guise of rounding up these migrants, which they're really not getting a lot of, they've made all these camps all along the border. Everything we ever warned you about with Jade Helm. Then they just came out and made this huge compound, Alligator Alcatraz, and they did it quickly. And I'm going to show a clip on it here in a minute. But first, let me dive into all the goods on P. Diddy. This is enough to blow someone's top. Again, the whole system's rigged. It's pathetic. And when you got James Comey's daughter overseeing the whole thing, oh boy. Like, man, like, it's one big club. And you just can't make this stuff up. Now, I told you that this was going to happen. Because we looked at the charges. And it was suspect. And I told you. And I called it out. And I went over and over again. They're like, all these charges are whack for the most part. We'll see what sticks. But like, especially had nothing to do with murder on anyone or anything like that. Or rape. Or any of that. They dropped all. It wasn't even in the initial charges. It was the racketeering. Conspiracy, racketeering, the sex trafficking is what they went at. And when they stopped there, we were like, hold on. Like, Nothing else is going to get pursued. This is why they showed the tape of him hitting whatever. They weren't charging him on beating Cassie or beating anyone. He beat a lot of people. They weren't charging him on assaulting a soul. That wasn't any of the charges. So you got to look at the charges that are stacked up at the gate, like we did, and you could see that, man, this is why we saw. It's like, man, this is like on shaky legs. Like, he's gonna, to some degree, be getting off on this, like getting out. Like, it's all about them dues paid, sacrifices paid. So this means that instead of spending the rest of his life behind bars, it's greatly reduced the sentence to where the maximum for the charges that he did get, the lesser charges he got charged with. Okay. The max is 10 years. He doesn't even have to get the max. They could be lenient. They give him 5 years. Okay. So they give him a year. And since he's never been in any major trouble or anything like that, they could cut him a break, all in all. And like, I don't know. I see him doing him. He's in there. They're going to give him time served. Throughout this whole thing, he's in there. So, just hit him with a couple of years. Like, and then they'll probably still let him out on good behavior and all this stuff. Like, super early. And that's just like, he got away with it. He got away with all of it then. It means he's been tried. He's done served the time. They can't try him again for any of it. If you got him back in court or anything, it would have to be on separate charges. It would have to be on the charges that it should be. The only problem is the murder charges, the whole thing surrounding Tupac and Biggie, it's all set up by the feds. Greg Kading and all them it's all set up. So it's known, it's publicly known. You go look up on YouTube and watch all the interviews. It's known, and Keefy D and all of them, even Kading, Greg Kading, has said that P. Diddy wrote $1 million check that went to, like, I think it was Jimmy Henchman or whoever after that. Or no, it was somebody else. One, he said it was Zip. It was Zip. And that it was supposed to be for the money to take care of eliminating Pac. Well, the same circle of people that took out Tupac, took out Biggie, the same circle of people, Suge Knight said that in a recent interview. He doesn't do much talking in ways, but he's been thrown under the bus in all this, and obviously sitting in jail for the rest of his life, pretty much. And they've turned on him, tried to kill him several times. He's even been shot afterwards, since Pac. He survived it all. And his whole thing was the street code, that he wasn't talking because he wasn't snitching. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't be seen as a snitch. But he's basically come out and flat out said that, screw it. They were trying to kill me too. Like, they didn't just try to kill Pac, try to kill me too. The same people who try to kill us is the same. If you saw the first one, you saw the second one. That's his exact words. His exact words. Okay? So they set this whole thing up. Huge, man. Set the whole thing up. Put Shook away. Reggie Wright Jr. took over Death Row Records. And Reggie Wright Jr. is the main centerpiece that orchestrated almost every bit of this. That made it all happen. It was his shots, his calls. He was the centerpiece of all of it. He was the one that took control of Death Row when Shook went to jail. He was the one that had control of all the dudes. He's also the one that, in my opinion, had a lot of them killed and tries to put the rap on Shook. Shook had him killed. But it didn't make sense for Shook to have him killed. It made sense for Reggie Wright Jr. to have him killed. And Reggie Wright Jr. is a cop. A cop. And his daddy was the main cop in Compton. You know how deep this runs and how cops are protected? Okay? Well, the feds overseeing the whole thing. Look, every time I go to a city and something's going down, one thing's for sure. There's going to be nice parked cars down the street somewhere that have Fed tags, and you're going to see them sitting on the rooftops peeking over. Guaranteed. That's when a Fed op's going down. And that's exactly what happened. The night Tupac and Biggie were both killed. The Feds were there. They've got it on video. They've got these murders on video, I'm telling you. And other people know it. Tupac's father, dad, on video here recently in an interview he did, he says it to the Feds. Where's the video footage? Because I know for a fact, off the paperwork and off of what we know, you were tracking my son that night, Tupac. They were following him. They were watching him. See, they watched him all the way down the strip of Flamingo, the whole shoot up. They watched the whole thing because they overseen their baby. Same thing with Biggie. This is the beast you're dealing with, man. Okay? So throw Suge Knight out of the bus, make him look like the patsy, tell on the streets that he was responsible. He's the one that had Tupac killed. All this other crap. If that was the case, they didn't have smoked him on that. But he wasn't. It was deeper than that. It was a circle of people containing Reggie Wright and others. And I've got all the proof in the world. All the way down to got him over the radios. They came right when Tupac got shot. Suge even exposed that and said it. Like, the cat's out of the bag now. And now Keefe D is arrested in jail and about to fry for all this. And guess what he's saying? Guess what Keefe D is saying last minute? He said, He goes, this is all Reggie Wright Jr. He goes, I wasn't even there in Vegas. He goes, I just went along with all this to make money. And he's lightweight telling the truth. There's so many bodies that were people that were killed. Gaddafi was in the car behind it and witnessed it. The singer, Gaddafi, out of the Outlaws, witnessed Tupac get shot. It could have ID'd the shooter. He was killed within a very short time after Tupac was. All these people were. Frank Alexander, the main bodyguard, that was Tupac's bodyguard, he dead. Michael Moore, the other one, that his main bodyguard, that overheard the thing over the radio, dead. All the Bloods that were security that were around it were shot, dead. One of them, one of the main ones at a gas station, driving whose vehicle, whose truck was he in? Reggie Wright Jr.'s truck. And he shot dead. Reggie Wright Jr. got caught busted a handful of years back. Him and his daddy running drugs out of Memphis in California. He should be sitting in prison right now. But all of a sudden, he wasn't in prison. All of a sudden, he showed up on YouTube making videos. Pushing a narrative. A lie. With a Fed called Greg Kading. In a false narrative. And it's been shredded. And they tried. But it's fell apart. And now it's obvious. They are the ones that did it all. They did every bit of it. And of course, before the Feds will ever say that, they'll throw any one of these characters under the bus. And as you see, Diddy on the totem pole, they don't, at this point, they're fine with letting the Pac and Biggie things just go unsolved. If it means, that they got to get drug into it, their name, it's that close, they'll let it go unsolved forever. What I told you here tonight is that investigators, I've been investigating this since I was 16 years old. It's when I heard Tupac Shakur was dead. I believed, because they pushed it, I believed he lived. Because in his music, that was his plan. He obviously planned this, and they clipped him. They knew it. They knew the plan. Listening. They clipped him. And the whole theme of Machiavelli was to fake your death and disappear. But no, they killed him. And then they dropped the out Machiavelli. And it went right along with the whole thing, man. It looked like he really did. And the whole time, some rich Jewish men running the industry filled their pockets with money. You see how that works? Connected back to that Mossad. You see how that works? Same circle killed Biggie. You understand? This is a mafia that you're dealing with here. Call it government. Try to sugarcoat the name. It's a deadly mafia that runs this whole thing, is what it is. And all the people in it are brainwashed, hypnotized by black magic. It is crazy. You all have the ability to do great things, wondrous things, to create things out of your imagination and to will them into this existence, into this reality. But you were never taught it full scale. These cats use it against you, your lack of knowledge. You have to dream big, aim big, never give up, set your vision big. You have to keep going for it, fighting for it, because no one else is going to. And that will draw it into existence. You see, they know these things. That's why they want to keep people dwelling in depression and all this other stuff and can't get out of that. If they only knew that the law of attraction is real and all these things are very real, you can speak things into existence. If they only knew the power that they had. It's lack of knowledge, man. That's why I fight so hard to get knowledge into the hands of people all the time. As long as I'm here. P. Diddy, though, this piece of work, he'll probably be back on the streets, probably doing a freak off before 2030. It pisses me off. And never once after all this will, again, anything be brought up about the murders. This, as time passes and generational time passes, they'll just like JFK and everything else, they won't say nothing. They'll wait till generations pass before you. And even then, you get Trump that comes along, we'll give you all the JFK stuff, and like it's all lies and garbage. It's garbage, man. It's never the truth. You think they're ever going to throw something out there that said, we did it? So, Diddy convicted of two sex crimes. Two sex crimes here, and he may get time served, and the prostitution is a 10-year maximum. But the fact that he was acquitted on the most serious counts says it all. Says it all, man. I will say this. He thought that he was getting out. He started bragging. And he was telling his kids and everybody, saying, I'm coming home. And throwing a heart image up and saying thank you to all these people and acting like he won. But then they denied him bail or bond. So he has to sit in there. He doesn't get out. He doesn't get this moment of getting out before sentencing. He's got to sit in there. Good, you piece of work. Again, he should be tried and brought in for murder. We live in such a corrupt system. How can I sit here and tell you all the details of known murders and have the suspects lined out, have all the stuff, and like it not even be a thing? It's not even being talked about. It's not even in court. They're not even bringing charges up. Like it's that sick of a corrupt game. Again, with people like Comey's daughter, running this thing, it's a sham. So, Trump says he calls on Jerome Powell to resign immediately. This gives him an out. This gives him someone to blame on the bad economy. We'll see what happens here. I mean, he's got the power to fire him if you really want, if he was that damaging. But, look what he says here.
No inflation, our customer strong. Our interest rate should be 3 points lower. If our interest rate was 3 points lower, that's almost $1 trillion in cost. And it's done just by the signing of an amendment. We have a moron at the head of that. He's a moron.
Speaking of geopolitical, do you have a top choice?
I do. I have 2 or 3 top choices. Actually. No. You almost got me there. No.
Sound tired there, and they almost got him. Almost the name. He said he's got 2 or 3 choices.
The American people want to borrow money cheaply, and they should be able to do that. But unfortunately, we have interest rates that are still too high. So the president sent this note to the Fed chair today. And if you look at this chart, this is a chart of all of the interest rates of many countries throughout the world. At the top is Switzerland. They're only paying a quarter for interest rates. Cambodia, Japan, Denmark, Thailand, Botswana, Barbados, Taiwan, Bulgaria, Cuba, Sweden, Morocco, Cabo Verde, South Korea, Algeria, Canada, Albania, Libya, Malaysia, China, New Zealand, Trinidad and Tobago, Czechia, Bolivia, Australia, Costa Rica, the Bahamas, Kuwait, Papua New Guinea, Bosnia, United Kingdom, and the UAE are all paying lower interest rates than the United States of America, which has one of the hottest and strongest economies in the world. The president sent this note to the Fed chair. It says, Jerome, you are as usual too late. You have cost the USA a fortune and continue to do so. You should lower the rate by a lot. Hundreds of billions of dollars are being lost, and there is no inflation. And the president is right. There is historically low inflation thanks to his policies.
Yeah, so what's going to happen? Let's see. You get him out of there, get him out of there. What happened to the old Trump? What happened to the old Trump? Huh? What happened to the Trump that we knew from the beginning? One from TV, you're fired. Trump. Where's that Trump at? It's all show, man. So RFK Jr., he unloads disturbing information here with Tucker. There's a lot here, but there's a whole bunch here. I just want to get to a couple key ones here. There's one here. Oh, there it is. This one with Fauci is what I'm going to play here. And then I've got more information on Fauci, but here I'm going to play this clip because it's important on Fauci's role here. And this is going to get very interesting. You're about to see. This is going to get very interesting because I'll hold off.
So one of the reasons that this system has become so corrupt, I think it's fair to say, is Anthony Fauci, one of the longest serving federal employees, who was the subject of one of the best books of a couple of years ago, which you wrote, The Real Anthony Fauci, amazing book. And all this information about him was exposed to the world, and he gets some sinecure at Georgetown and still has Secret Service protection. He seems to be thriving.
He doesn't have Secret Service protection
any longer.
No, President Trump took that away from him, but
good.
He got immunity. Why did he need immunity? Why did he need a pardon in advance?
What do you think the answer is?
I would be speculating, but I think he was vulnerable. I think he had a lot of liability on creating coronavirus. He was funding precisely that research at the Wuhan lab.
Yep.
And he was giving them the technology. He was giving them, he gave them not only the technology, the precise technology for developing that pathogen, and published about it, by the way. And the publications credit NIH for financing the studies, but he also gave them, one of his fundees, Ralph Barrick from the University of North Carolina, developed a technique called the seamless ligation technique, which is a technique for hiding the laboratory origins of a virus, of a manipulated virus. So that normally, if there's a virus manipulated, you can look at it, researchers can look at it, they can look at the DNA sequences, and they can say this thing was created in a lab. But Ralph Barrick had developed a technique that he called the no-seum technique, and its technical name was seamless ligation. And it was a way of hiding evidence of human tampering. what is the public health rationale? You would, if you were interested in public health, you would want to be doing the inverse of that. You would want to be pinning red flags all to it and say this was created by people.
That's what you would do if you were creating viruses for biological warfare.
Right, that's right. And that's another question, is why would he give it to the Chinese? I mean, that was a military lab. It was run by the military.
All right. Do you see? And I can't stand RFK. You should know this, but that doesn't matter. That's beside the point. Do you see what he just said? He's raising the question, like, why did Fauci just give the Chinese all of this? You know what? The same Chinese that snuck up in here, the same Chinese that's embedded in everything, the same Chinese, the bad Chinese, you know, the same dragon. Why did he? Why did he do this? Is that treason? That raises questions. Well, check this out. Is Rand Paul about to finally nail him? He just announced that he intends to subpoena Fauci to testify regarding his role in 19. Well, check this out. This is huge. Ironically, listen, because Fauci accepted the pardon from Joe Biden's auto pen, it means he cannot invoke the Fifth Amendment. This opens up the possibility of purging or perjury charges popping up on Fauci if he withholds any truth while under oath. So if he lies or does anything under this, he can't take the fifth, he can't plead the fifth like anyone else. Because he took that pardon from the auto pen, it means he cannot invoke the Fifth Amendment. That's crazy. And if he lies under oath, he can be arrested for perjury. So this is leveling it up. This is where you would want to see it taken and escalated to. Right here. This whole thing. If there's ever really going to be something or someone to get it. That's like treasonous. Giving that to China. Why China? Why did you go over and just hand it to China, you fool? Of all people. Do they control you? And it seems that way. Of all people on the planet, you just say, oh, go over here and hand it to the Chinese. Why? It would seem to me you're controlled by them then. You're compromised. It's a huge problem. World is a stage, huh? Steve, thank you. Thank you for the super chat and the love. I do appreciate that. To the fullest. All right, check this one out. Biden's energy department dispersed $42 billion in its final hours. So this is just one of the few departments. These guys should go to jail for it. Biden, any of them, it doesn't matter at this point. A bunch of people should be going to jail, but they're not. That's why this whole thing's a fraud. It's a show. It's a gimmick. It's a joke. It's all a big show. I'm telling you. So they dished out $42 billion, the establishment did, in the final hours just out of the energy department. Just money everywhere. They're pushing. Now we got 20 states suing Trump over the release of Medicaid data because all of a sudden the feds went to Medicaid and was like, give us all your data on everyone. And they did. And they're like, no, like you shouldn't have got all that. But that's what the feds do. They go storming in wherever and saying, show me this or that. Then they take you to Alligator Alcatraz and drop you off. 11-11, much love. God bless. Here's Trump showing up with DeSantis wearing his stilts. So that's one clip. I want to show this other clip. That's the compound. Okay? And look, they've made sure they stocked it plentiful with gators. Okay? And you could tell, like they were over here at the dock or something, they were dropping them off. And they've got them stocked all the way down here. I don't see a single one over here on this side. That'd be the weak link. The idea here is that if someone wants to try to escape, let them. They're not going to make it far. The gators are going to get them. And, you know, it's one thing to sit here and think, okay, they're making camps for illegals, but like when this whole thing's said and done, this is still going to be there. All those camps are still going to be in place, I'm telling you, and they're pure bloods, man. They're coming one day for us.
Our country. He invaded our country just like a military would invade. It's tougher because they don't wear uniforms. You don't know who
Trump
they are.
talking.
More than the populations of New York City, Los Angeles, Chicago, Houston,
Biden.
Phoenix, and Philadelphia combined. That's what came into our country from prisons, from mental institutions, from street gangs, drug dealers. It's disgusting. This enormous country-destroying invasion has swamped communities nationwide with massive crime, crippling costs, and burdens far beyond what any nation could withstand. No nation could withstand what we did, and we're in the process of doing it, but we have some great people doing it now, and you see them up here with me, but it's, I'd call it like an unforced era. It's sort of like men and women sports. It's sort of like transgender for everybody. How could they have done this to our country?
All right, and Trump says that Israel has agreed to a 60-day ceasefire. That's the update here on the Israel-Iran thing. A 60-day ceasefire. Urging Hamas to accept. Apparently, it looks like it's holding up for the moment. But, like, look, the moment one of these guys drop like another, like a tactical nuke or something like that on another, or there's another like big strike, expect the markets can dip. You know what they do with the news. I told you this earlier. With the news, they control the markets. Okay, I've been doing this a long time. There's certain things we've learned and we've seen that it's just the way that it is. And like, you could have the whole market going good, and like certain things respond to certain types of news, different categories, different things. It's just the way that it is. And when you get a beat on that, it's kind of a gimme that like as soon as they do one thing, then like money can be made in a certain area or taken from a certain area. But you know, any like you seen with lockdowns or the initial shockwave of the fighting between Israel and Iran, it'll rock the market. It'll dip it down, and it will have to recover. Now, I will say, you know, with Trump in there, the way things are going right now, market recovering, good. So, as I call it, they're fattening up the bags here before the great taking for everyone. And look at this. This is interesting. Iranian hackers say they have 100 gigabytes of Trump's emails. They claim to have possession of these. And Pam Bondi says that the breach is an unconscionable cyber attack. When I hear these words, and this is all staged and like set up, like I feel like it's going to escalate to the next stage. They're probably going to be releasing something big on Trump. If they've got any kind of compromising material on him, they are going to release it. This is going to be interesting. See what they got. Iran is pretty deep and solid when it comes to the cyber department. They admit that. Their attacks, their the whole cyber regiment, it's their number one weapon. It's the number one weapon, and they're using it. They also have been mauling plans to litter the Strait of Hormuz with naval mines. This would be a nightmare. If they did that, it would shut down this area for a long time to come. No one would dare want to try to traverse it, especially once one ship gets hit and goes down. They're also saying and showing here that everything Iran has been doing has been backed by China. And when Pakistan got into it with India, and I told you this, immediately China ran to Pakistan's rescue, supplying them arms, military jets. And they're like, what? India's looking at this like, okay, I see you. So basically, you guys got us surrounded. Well, that's India's incentive to go with the West, and be buddy with them, because they're gonna, if they don't, they're left on their own. If India does not go with the West, they are left on their own, battling all their neighbors. Russia will have China's back over any others, and it's just the way it's going to be there. India's, even though they got more people, they're going to have to put them people to use them. They're going to be sending them to war, fighting a lot of people on both borders. Is what is potentially up there to happen. Fiji says a Chinese military base and missiles are not welcome in their area because China's creeping up everywhere. If they see a little shoal out in the water, they'll go and they'll build it up and they'll make it a base. If it's big enough to make a runway, they'll make it an airstrip. You know, they're masters at it. They've been doing it over and over and over again. And a lot of countries are warning about it. Deanne, thank you for the coffees, the constant support, and being there, and being one hell of a mod. And hey, much love and prayers right back at you all the way. Russia masses 50,000 troops in Sumy in an effort to overwhelm them by sheer numbers. They're taking over everything. They're not really talking about this front much, but it's just because Russia's just stomping everywhere they go. This the major area in Luhansk they just took, and they're gonna continue this all summer. And if they do, they're probably gonna take Kiev, and there will be a mass evacuation at that point. There will have to be, if there's not already one underway, like slowly happening, because as bombs are hitting the city, and Russia's getting closer, and wanting to strike Zelensky. No one wants to stick around town for that. You know, it's an eerie feeling. How would you think if, like, Russian troops are in your country, occupying certain areas, and, like, you're just, like, a couple hundred miles away in another major city right there? Like, what's stopping them from advancing on your town? Like, it's war zones are not good, and they're talking more and more and more like Mexico is an enemy. You know, our southern border is primed to become a war zone. It's like what they want. And look at this. I wanted to point this out here in the end. The Pentagon halting weapon shipments to Ukraine because it's been revealed that Joe Biden depleted our U.S. munition stockpiles. We are sitting ducks. They just admitted it right now. Like, oh, we got to ease up, man. We're like almost out. Like, what? They're like, oh, yeah, Biden depleted it. And it's like, okay, you didn't check the reserves before. I don't buy none of this. See, this is garbage. That's why I tell you, Fort Knox be empty. I don't buy that. You didn't audit none of this stuff. You didn't, like, this is garbage. It's a setup. Say he depleted our munition supply. Like, that means we're like We're weak in so many areas in the military, and we just are. And it would do our adversaries better to strike us now before Trump could ever, within a few years, get it built back up, contend with them. Remember, China wants to take over Taiwan by 2027. It's a known plan. They just said F it and threw it out there in the public and let the whole world know this is what we're doing. We're taking this thing over. They telegraphed it. They said it clearly. They gave it years advance notice. And we're halfway through. We are halfway through this year already. Blown by. You've got just a handful of months more, and it's going to become fall. And then the end of the year is going to be creeping up before you know it. Boom. You're into 2026, and you were a year away from them making a move. And I see them kind of making a move without, everyone knowing the exact time. I don't think they have to wait till 2027. They said by 2027. And I don't know. We don't have a lot here to protect ourselves. So all I'm saying, it's a setup. I keep telling you, it's all a setup. Yeah, man. It's what you get. This evil ass world out here. All right. Get ready to shut this down. Give some shout outs here. Oh, and as I was saying earlier, because I've created 2 projects. For anyone that's interested, I created the Under Project to begin with, out here for the community that wanted it. And then, as I said earlier, I made a project in my likeness called Dabu 7. And I mention it again because, well, not only is it a perfect time to get in on it if you wanted to, but if anything ever happens to me and I hit the news, I'm warning you right now. It could sit here kind of dead. It could pump. It could do whatever. I made it to cover my likeness because I said this earlier. I watch it every day in the cycle. When in the news cycle and in the markets, certain things, projects pump specifically related to the news. Specifically, I watch it all day long. It is what drives the market every single day. Every single day. Okay, so again, if anything crazy happens to me, unfortunately, the best example I can give you is like if I die or have something crazy happen to me and I hit the headlines, they will look me up, and these guys that do this will be like, they will look for the OG account, even though it's sitting here with not much. No one knows much about it. They will hunt it down. They will find the original OG, and they'll blow it up. It happens every day. It's how they operate. I'm just letting you know that's how it operates. So even for you, for yourself, you can do this. Go make a project, launch one in your likeness or something like that. Same thing applies. Anything crazy happens, news related to you, it's gonna fly. For anything, use your imagination. I'm telling you, if you've been slipping on it, it's how the market works. And I noticed it, and somebody else did it. It happened on some other dude that for some total different reasons. Someone you would never know of or hear of or anything, but he had a project under his name, and he hit the news for some whatever reason, and it blew it up. And they do this every day. I'm just saying, you could take advantage of it and make one for yourself or whatever. Same concept. It's making something in the likeness of you and claiming it. And I'm going to tell you this, when I did it, they tried to make copycat accounts of my stuff immediately. I'm talking within seconds. And what's nuts, there's a couple accounts out there. They blew their accounts up higher than the market cap ever got on the original one here. That's what they try to do in this game. Anything that's made, they'll copycat it. And again, that's why they go looking for the OG, the original of any project. And you should always have the link to that in any of your descriptions so people know what the real one is if you do make a project, because they will copycat the crap out of it. It's just the name of the game and the way it flows these days. So yeah, some knowledge there. And much love, guys. I do look to be live on Friday. I know it's the 4th of July, but hey, this is what I do. So, you know, if I'm breathing and I'm sitting here and there ain't nothing else going on, I will be live. So, as I always say, if the Lord doesn't return in the coming days, I'll see you here next time for some Underground World News Live. Yeah, man. And much love to everybody that supports the channel. Hoodie Ross. Yeah. Thank you so much, Daily. All the mods. Dark Wolf Mayhem. Q City in the house. Q City. Cynthia. Pixie. E-Fits. Bulletproof. RJ. Janine. Jay. And from the Ville. Heart Soul. Thank you for everything, man. Academy. Kilo. Kenny G. Got that right, Skynet Illuminati. John Boy. Oh, Frog, Alina. Philip. David Cooper. Much love to all you guys. God bless. And thank you so much, E-Fits, for that update. It was fully taken out. The 5-year idea was rejected also. So the AI was stripped. Hallelujah. Much love. Hey, I see